when Darren sent me the film, there was no score. So it was a chance for me to really try to be impacted by the film itself without any notions of what the score should be or could be. I was totally devastated by it. Brendan is funny and bright and light, as well as really able to transmit deep pain and deep emotion. And it really is the thing that allows you into the film. I started giving some musical propositions to Darren. The initial ideas that came to me were to kind of draw upon the nautical theme in the film.
In the amazing book Moby Dick by the author Herman Melville, the author recounts his story of being at sea.
Which is in the sound design, it's in the costumes, it's in the set design, it's in the cinematography. There's a sense that you're at sea. And so for me, a big part of the score was speaking to how emotions can have depth like the sea. Sometimes you feel that you're on top, being rolled around on the waves. And sometimes you feel underwater and submerged in your own emotions. This image that I had of things kind of appearing underwater and then disappearing was a good touchstone for me as I was working. And so a lot of the musical gestures tend to come from nothing and bloom and then disappear and have space. And there's a lot of rolling movements. And then sometimes the storm is there, and there's an emotional spike that we're striking with the music as well, and we're very bold.
I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life.
I don't know that I got instant feedback about like, yes, this is exactly the right thing, or no, this is not the right thing. So he just encouraged me to keep going. Charlie, the main character, he struggles with his breathing throughout the film. So anything that had a sense of air to it. So the pump organ is air pumping through it, and brass obviously is a breath instrument. And as well, I used a overtone flute. Winnie Clement makes and plays all sorts of overtone flutes. He's in Belgium, and when I saw The Whale, I thought, this is the perfect sound. And I asked him to build the biggest flute that he's ever built. So he built one that was 21 feet long and played these very low sounds. It sounds like a cross between maybe a didgeridoo and a flute. And to me, it just sounds almost like a musical blowhole, like you would hear from a whale. So that's a foundational tone and texture in the score that I then ran through some tape machines and digitally slowed down and pitched. Very much woven in with the strings and with the brass and the organ elements. There's a binge scene where you really see him in the throes of an emotional moment, and eating is his coping strategy for dealing with emotions. There was a breathing rhythm that Winna played on the overtone flute that has this kind of chug-a-chug sound to it. It sounds a bit like a train going. That kicks up at the beginning of the binge, and I think that signals that it's this unstoppable act of behavior that is out of control. And there's not that much rhythm in the score up to that point, so when that rhythm starts, I think it feels like a moment. The brass is kicking in and everything is swelling. It's a hard moment, and we knew that we were really gonna need to go there because Charlie's going there, so the score really needs to go there. That really is a culmination of almost everything that you've heard in the score up to that point. It's the full force of the orchestra playing in unison and growing to a certain intense moment. I wanted to use the London Contemporary Orchestra, which is a younger group of orchestral musicians in London, and they have really trained themselves to play with a lot of restraint, and they've developed a bit of their own musical vernacular and certain techniques that they've really dialed in a beautiful way. The way that they can hold on to a single note and create really subtle variations is unparalleled. And the sound around them, I knew I wanted to be reverberant, similar to the way it feels underwater. So Air Studios in London is an old church. In the main hall, there's a beautiful reverb bloom there. So these kind of very subtle string blooms with enough air around them, and everything, for the most part, has a bit of distance to it, so that you're feeling a bit of what it sounds like when you're in a concert hall, and you have a bit of distance from the players, and you're hearing these sounds that are softened by the air, the way that you would even underwater as well. It wasn't until I had scored some big scenes that I think Darren felt like, okay, yeah, this is good and this is the right direction. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, I just wanted to see what your proposition was. So unlike, hey, we take a little baby step and then yes or no, or these things, there was a lot of trust from Darren. There was a lot of trust in the artistic process, which I loved so much.
These assignments don't matter. This course doesn't matter. College doesn't matter. These amazing, honest things that you wrote, they matter.